I noticed I've never seen anyone say this, so I'm going to say it. And first off, I know anybody who's Googled, why is my check engine light on? Or how to fix check engine light, all those little things. Because, we all have to get inspections, the most of us. If you don't have to get inspections, you're probably not even worried about this video. You probably haven't seen it, you're not looking at it, you don't care. But for those of you who are trying to keep the check engine light off and it bothers you when you see it, I need you to hear me out. There is a trope on the internet about covering the check engine light with tape. Don't do that. If your check engine light is on, do not cover it with a sticky note or a tape of any kind. Do not put a family member's picture in front of it. Don't do these things. If your check engine light is on, there is a reason. Sure, it might be a reason that you can keep driving because it's minor. It may be costing you fuel efficiency. It may be costing you a steady, smooth ride. It may not affect either of these enough for you to notice, but it is there. If for some reason you ignore it long enough, other things that go wrong may pop up and you'll never know because the check engine light is on. That is the reason to get the check engine light turned off. Because if other things start going wrong, well, how much efficiency are you losing? How much of a smooth ride are you giving up? How much damage is this doing to your motor over time? But let's say you don't give a crap about any of those things, but you do drive on the state and local highways and byways, and you ride in heavy traffic. If you ride in heavy traffic, if you ride on highways, byways, freeways, passages, and all of these things, if you're not just on a slow 45, 35 back road, you could be in danger. Covering the check engine light prevents you from seeing a secondary function of the check engine light. Check engine lights don't just cut on, they also blink. If you don't know what I mean by blink, you probably haven't seen one blink. You can Google check engine light blinking and probably at least see an example YouTube video of a check engine light blinking. But as far as I'm aware, as far as I know from my experience, if your check engine light is blinking, pull the fuck over. This isn't, oh my god, it's blinking. It's going out. It's gonna go out. The bulb is gonna blow. No. That's not what's happening. It's not fixing itself. It's not trying to decide if the problem is gone. If your check engine light is blinking, it's a critical failure. Critical. You could blow a cylinder head, you could blow an arm, and it may not blink. So when it's blinking, it's fucking critical. And I say critical because if you're doing 70 on the interstate and you lose absolutely everything, how are you steering the vehicle? How are you stopping the vehicle? How are you anything? If you're on the interstate and your motor literally decides to dismantle itself, portions of that material, the metal, the strings, the rubber, the gasket string, the bolts, the lug nuts, the anything that you can think of car related that might be in the vicinity, suddenly comes into question. The different parts of the motor can literally be sheared, shattered, busted, broken, blown off during a critical catastrophic failure. To the point that if you have like what I assume to be a traditional rack and pinion, you could have something fall onto and get stuck in the rack and pinion to where you can only turn one way or neither ways. Neither ways is bad. One way is kind of just as bad, especially if you have a turn coming up that is only in the other direction. So a critical failure is letting you know right that minute, throw it into neutral. Throw it into neutral. Coast to a stop on the side of the road. Turn it off. If you don't care about the motor, that's fine. If you don't care about the transmission, that's fine. There's lots of people out there that wish they had cars, and you letting it blow itself the hell up does hurt people's feelings when they wish they had a car to drive. However, if you are in it and it does this, you are putting your life in danger and everyone around you as well. Because we don't know what's going to happen with that car. But the brakes could lock up because of something to do with the braking system. Yes, the brake lines can merge together and join at a unit underneath the hood. And it is highly possible if things move enough that it could hit, activate, force, or prevent the forcing of the brakes. Meaning you either lost your brakes or it suddenly locked up your tires. That you can't predict, you can't plan, you can't plot what will break, where it will break, how it will hit the things around it. I had a buddy drive a Ford Mustang 4-cylinder. They had modified the computers on it so that it could, do better. They put it on a dyno, and they ran it with some of the races, and yeah, I mean, he was proud of it, but more importantly, he had a cylinder head, a piston head, kind of leave the motor. It came out, it shattered the top of the motor, it shattered through the roof, and it hit the windshield after it went up and came back down. It said no. And the check engine light wasn't flashing then. That's how bad that was. And the check engine light not flashing. However, when it did break, the portions of metal up there that it went through did decide to not all be one piece, and a couple of pieces did fall, and as he was cutting off the motor and all, the belt on the front that runs the alternator, the water pump and all that did get cut up pretty bad and decide it was no longer one piece. And so because of a few pieces of flying metal, he lost the belt. And if you had been driving and you think, well, Justin, Honest Tool Reviews, they're full of shit. If you just, think none of this could happen, at the very least, those pieces of metal could cut your belt and you lose your water pump and power steering and air conditioning and the alternator. And one of those is going to affect you first. But you're either going to lose all of your batteries supplied power and the car is going to shut down, which would be okay. You can lose your power steering. You could lose your water pump first, which means your motor's now overheating as if it wasn't already a catastrophic failure. But I think you should probably consider not doing the ever lovable trope of just covering up the check engine light, because as I've just discovered, people have been doing it. They see people do this stuff in videos and think it's serious advice to just cover it up. It's fine. It's only a problem if you can't get it to pass inspection. And now there's like 3 or 4 people that I'm aware of that have had horrific wrecks due to check engine light started blinking. Next thing they know, they wake up in the hospital, and they're responsible for 3 or 4 people riding in a car behind them or beside them being absolutely wrecked themselves. Kind of, sort of, public service announcement, kind of, sort of, my personal experience, kind of, sort of, something that you can take with a grain of salt, because you'll always know more than this guy on the internet. But I highly, highly, highly suggest. I can't really beg and plead. It's just not that big of a deal for me if people in Florida like take out 8 other lanes of traffic. I'm not in Florida or California or any of those places. You can do what you want. I can't stop you. But I hope I do ask that you take into consideration other people's lives and try to disregard when you see that it is a meme. It is funny. It is. It is not advice. Do not just cover your check engine light. I have a check engine light. It is on. It is on right now. It is. It's right there. It is lit. I'm aware of it. I keep an eye on it. And if it freaking blinks, I'm pulling the F over. Getting it towed. Not risking everyone's lives, my liability, and all that over a blinking check engine light. And it's not cute. It's not Christmas. It's dangerous. Okay? So don't do that. Did not think I'd ever have to make a public service announcement. Did not think I'd ever have to say this. But no one's pointing it out, and people are taking this stuff as genuine life advice to just cover it up with a sticky note. Don't do that.